Good evening. 5 games on the way on a busy Sunday in the Premier League before we head into the international break. Danny Murphy and Joe Hart are here with us, and we start at Hill Dickinson Stadium. Everton taking on Crystal Palace, the only unbeaten team left in the Premier League, currently on the longest stretch of games without defeat in their 120-year history. Simon Brotherton is your commentator.
60, 70 minutes, fantastic performance of Crystal Palace. Playing very well, creating chances, and just we were not efficient enough. And also not to blame anybody. Can happen. And then we made one mistake, so we don't make many mistakes in our defense. We made one, they got a penalty, and then it was an open game. And then it was who gets the lucky punch and takes it. And then today it was Everton, and so we have to accept it.
We could have been 3 down, you know. We hung in, we kept defending it, even though we weren't great, but we played much better in the second half, and we were worthy of maybe getting it, but not. If you look at it, as I said, they could have had a couple of other goals.
It was good, man. Just nice to score late on, and to score my first goal, here, to do it here was incredible.
You're enjoying yourself, aren't you?
Yeah, no, I'm loving it, honestly. I don't know. I don't even know what it is. Just waking up and going to training every day with these guys is a great feeling, and to have that love back and the smile on my face. I think you all seen when I scored. Yeah, it was just brilliant.
We will talk about Jack Grealish. As he said, it was a brilliant, particularly second half performance. But the difference, and we should also point out how good Crystal Palace were in the first half of this game. But the difference between Everton from the first half to the second half was so marked by pretty much every measure. They weren't just improved; they were massively improved. So, what do you think the difference was? What changed, Joe?
Mindset, personnel. I think Palace, credit to them, Danny, they were excellent, weren't they, in the first half? Really they had good. So much energy, but they just looked a little bit tired from their, midweek excursions. And Everton, as David Moyes say, they hung in there, and then their quality shone through in the end.
It was such a good second half performance from Everton, but what did they need to fix from the first?
Well, I think it was the changes. He made the call. He took Beto out of the team from Monday night. He looked like he had a difficult game. Barry starting up front. Just not quite the presence that David Moyes was looking for. Like we say, Crystal Palace were excellent in the first half, excellent, and they've got very few chances. Barry trying to link up there, just couldn't really give an option, ended up hiding behind Palace's back three. This was one of his opportunities in the first half where he managed to get through one-on-one, but a fresh Gahey in the first half just looked like he had this situation under control. Barry didn't really stand a chance. And fair play to David Moyes, he took him out of the team, but he's realised at half-time, I need Beto in my team. I need him pushing, making as much problems as he possibly can. Early on, Pickford's got the option. He sees Beto. We all know Pickford's capable of getting that in over the top. He doesn't take it, but with him stretching the defence, that just brings that main man into the game, Jack Grealish. A little bit of time, Beto making that second run, just making it difficult. Look, of course, that's a ball to no one. They want Beto in the middle right there, but it was just encouraging signs. Grealish is quoted, he thought Wharton was excellent. He thought he was absolutely running the show. This is a senior pro saying, look, young man, as good as you are, I'm not going to let you settle. You're getting it. And that's Jack Grealish at his best. Alcaraz, another half-time change, flying through. This was late on in the second half. First opportunity, Dean Henderson making an excellent save. In Burnham, he came on, Michael Keane struggling, and they decided to make a positive move. It was really important they got back into the game. But it's more runs off the front man. Beto posting it up, making it difficult. A tired challenge. Absolute bonus that is for Everton. They couldn't believe their luck having survived 2 early chances in that second half. Here we see Beto again. And this stadium went from being ready to go. Palace had 2 really good opportunities at 1-0. And this is just winning a corner at 1-0, revving it up. This is what you want to be in a 50-odd thousand seat stadium. That's how you want to feel. Jack Grealish, like I said to you before, he just built into the game. And as they got more tired, Munoz, you don't see this happening. This is a man who's absolutely shattered. He's had a tough week. Grealish saying, get off, creating more chances, and the pressure started to build. And Dye linking with Alcatraz as he goes over the top. Beautiful ball into the middle, incredible header from Beto, would have rounded it up, but how can you begrudge this man finishing a tough week, no doubt about it, excellent finish, so pleased for him.
Yeah, Alcatraz got them out of jail.
I realised that one.
Do you know what?
Oh, God.
When you're struggling a bit, you need your best players to get on the ball and be brave, and he is a top player, and you can see the difference in the second half. So many more touches in the dangerous areas of the pitch. He was strong, he was fit, he looks happy. He's playing with a strut that we've seen him play with before. And what happens is that's infectious to those around him. I mean, I've got to give him the eye mention as well.
Yeah.
He's terrific. But Jack Grealish playing at this level will catch the eye of the England manager at some point. I know he's probably waited to see if he can keep the levels up. But when he's looking as strong as he is now and as brave as he is on the ball, then it's pretty inevitable, really.
And when his numbers are pretty much where they were last season off 20 games, and he's only played 7 now. As Danny said, 6 games in, and maybe Thomas Tuchel is thinking, all right, let's see if he can sustain this. But he's going to catch his eye at some stage if he does manage to continue in this vein.
Do you know what? You can tell in the way he interviews and the way he's behaving. That's a bonus for him. He's just really happy to get that joy back, get that love of football back. And we all know Jack Grealish is at his best when he's happy, when he's enjoying it, when he's the main man. And like I say, it was a great feeling to see him score that goal. You saw that relief, that excitement. How can you begrudge a man playing like that?
What about Crystal Palace? As you said, Danny, they started so well in that game, probably had a good 70 minutes in that game. But is it just the exertions of Europe? Is it the fact that they don't have the biggest squad to choose from? In fact, they've made the fewest changes along with Burnley in the Premier League so far this season.
That's the key. It's because they've had to basically play the same 10, 11 players for a good while now. And Joe and I were talking about it after the games, and if you're not used to it especially, it's not just the games, it's the mental preparation, it's the travel. And we did see in the latter stages of the game, I thought maybe some changes earlier for Palace might have helped, but they have done amazingly well. They had some great moments in the game, and to be honest with you, Cal, there was a spell in the second half, they had a couple of chances, could have put the game to bed, and the manager was pleased with the performance. He knows there's some tired legs out there. There's lots of positive things for Palace to take on into the next few weeks.
Yeah, a big moment for Jack Grealish's very first Everton goal, and a winning goal to boot for him.
Your first goal for Everton, how does it feel in a personal level, especially considering how well you've been doing since you got here?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's so nice, to score here. And do you know what's mad? Like the last few games when we've been here, we've been drawing. And I keep saying to myself in like the 85th minute, like, come on, Jack, try and score. Come on, imagine if you scored now. I've done it against Villa, I've done it against West Ham, and I didn't score. So today I actually said the same thing again, and I scored, and then, I ran to where my mum and dad were. So, it was nice. But that goal goes to all the Evertonians that have made me so welcome here.
They certainly have, and that celebration to his parents was lovely as well, because that was a big winner for Everton. And your former teammate at Aston Villa, how pleased are you to see him with a smile on his face, enjoying football again?
Yeah, I think that's the key thing. He's back playing. He's the main man for Everton. I think that's what Manchester City. He was the main man for Aston Villa beforehand, wasn't he? When I played with him briefly, and again, he won everything at Man City. Let's not forget they won the treble at Man City, but it felt he was always a bit part player under Pep. He was in a game, out a game, and now I think under David Moyes, he's found his perfect home. The Evertonians have took him on board, and again, to get his first goal, you could see even we're doing his interview, like there's a glint back in his eye. There's a smile. Jack just wants to play football, and it's great to see him being a regular starter and performing at a high level. And I suppose the England thing this week will probably upset him a little bit, because he was Player of the Month last month, wasn't he, in the Premier League, and didn't get called up to the England squad. So again, it'll do him no harm scoring today.
It's fantastic to see such a talent and someone who loves football so much, who, by his own admission, fell out of love a little bit, having it back and seeing what he's done today as well.
Yeah, you have to give him great credit, because it would have been easy for him to sit and just collect his money. We've seen players do that before, but I think great respect for him to say, no, I want to get out and play. I want to go and earn my money, because he's got an infectious love for the game. And I think even the way the Evertonians have sort of taken to him, they understand he's humble, he's very respectful, and he's just a genuine guy. He might like his lifestyle sometimes too much and been on the wrong end of that, but there's never any denying how much he loves to play football. And I think he's at the perfect club with the best manager and for where he is right now. He needs an arm around him, he needs a lot of love, he needs someone to protect him and look after him. He needs to feel important and special again. And I think he's got the great guy to do that in David Moyes. Yeah. And he's at a club where they're on the up, playing in a new stadium, and they can see how much the Everton fans have taken to him. And he's certainly improving, he's certainly getting better. That'll do his confidence and belief the world of good today, even if he didn't know too much about it, the finish. Who cares? He's got his goal, it's the winner. And he looks at home at Everton.
Yeah, and they've moved into the top 8 and they're still unbeaten in their new home, which is important because we know what Goodison was like, and we've seen Arsenal, West Ham over the last few years when they've moved stadium, the issues they've had. Everton so far haven't lost.
Yeah, and that's key to David Moyes, I think, to building a fortress in their new home, because looking around there even today, the shots coming through, it's a shiny brand new stadium for opposition players, and fans are going, this place is amazing, because we both played at Goodison Park, the old stadium. The fans are nearly on the pitch giving you dogs abuse, you know. Now it's a brand new shiny stadium, and opposition players. And if you look at the game today, you could say Everton were a bit lucky. Crystal Palace played really well. They had a couple of brilliant chances. Mateta had a 1v1 situation, dragged it wide of the post. Pickford made some great saves as well. So again, I suppose David Moyes has kept them in the game, kept them sturdy, kept them believing. And of course, Jack getting that late goal, it's a perfect 3 points for them.
Yeah, first defeat in 20 games for Crystal Palace since Newcastle beat them all that time ago.
They're a really, really good team. When you look at what they did last season in the FA Cup, you look at what they did in the Community Shield against the opposition, City and Liverpool. They're a really, really good side with some excellent players, despite losing one of their most important players in the summer. But that'll hurt them today because they will feel as if they did enough. They certainly had enough chances to do it. Shea's mentioned the Mateta, so I had one. And Pickford did pull off some really good saves, but they'll be kicking themselves that they lost the game so late.
Now, after the international break, they resume against Bournemouth, who certainly deserve a mention, don't they? Up with the big boys at the moment in that table, having lost their goalkeeper and 3 of their first choice back 4. Nobody anticipated this.
Well, again, I think any club that is doing well, we talk about the manager, and rightly so. Areola's done an unbelievable job, he really has. And Semenyo, there's no doubting that he is their star player. He is the player that makes them tick. He's the one who gets the goals, the assists, sets the standards. I think it was a wet and windy night on Friday night, wasn't it? And again, Fulham maybe weren't at the races. But again, great credit to him as a manager and a squad. You know, you imagine you built this great team last year, do so well in the Premier League, and the heart of the team gets ripped out. Just had to go and rebuild again. You recruit in the summer. But again, looks like them top players haven't really affected them leaving the club. They've replaced them really, really well.
Well coached.
Yeah, well coached. I think what he does really well is he trusts his players. He gives them the freedom to say if they need to be one-on-one defensively, they do that. You said it. They lost Zabani, Howson, Kirkes, Kepa. I mean that is an unbelievable thing to have to cope with when those players have been so influential and so good. And the money that they brought in, they've obviously done their homework and a well-run club, and for them to be doing what they're doing now, and it unfortunately it won't be long till the other clubs are coming sniffing for Semenyo. Unfortunately, that's just the way.
How good do you think he is?
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, I mean, he started off the season really well, didn't he? On that Friday evening against Liverpool at Anfield, he got his 2 goals, and he's just continued that form on. I mean, his 2 goals the other night were absolutely sensational.
Yeah, 6 goals already.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Bournemouth have sold some of their top players, and maybe, you know, the Bournemouth fans watching won't thank me, but it feels like he would be the next one to leave the football club for big money as well. I know he signed a contract in recent months, but I think that might be to protect the asset from a football point of view. They've done some great business, that's for sure. And again, you know, they'd want to keep him for the season to see where it finishes, of course. But he's the star player for sure.
And that's their recruitment model, isn't it? I mean, they don't get many wrong.
Yeah, I guess what they've done is that. Because they know how important and how special the players that they brought in and how good they looked, and they knew other clubs were looking at them, that might give them a bit of time to go out and recruit. So they're not going out panicking. They're not going out in an emergency, and it's not a situation where they're being held to ransom. It's a situation where they'll control the situation. This is the amount of money you have to pay, but they've already got someone lined up ready to come in. It looks as if it's that type of football club, and don't be surprised if you see Semenyo either January or the end of the season going out. Someone else will come in and replace him, as they already have done now in this season.
Yeah. What an impressive comeback. That was intense. What was key, especially in that second half, the way you guys pushed?
I don't actually know. I think we started the game so bad. It was a kick-off. Just little stuff, we lose the first header, then concede a throw, and then a corner, then another corner, I think. So we started it bad, and the first half was terrible. It was probably I think the lads will say the same. You know, it's probably as bad as easily the worst we've played this season. So we come in, you know, had a word with each other, regroup, and yeah, and, you know, I think the two subs that come on, you know, completely change the game for us as well. Give us a different way of playing. You know, a lot of runs in behind and stuff like this. So yeah, I think the second half of it were brilliant. You know, so difficult to play against this team. There's so many games unbeaten at the moment. So yeah, a good win in the end.
Good win and a good goal for you. Before the match, you were talking to the boys, saying that you wanted to shoot more, that you had goals in you. You must be pleased. How does it feel?
Yeah, well, I had 2 shots, didn't I? I had 2 proper shots. I don't know if you can count the goal as a shot. I'm not sure. But yeah, you know, I says that I want to try and get into them positions more. And the manager actually said it to me, you know, at half time. He says, try and get in at the back post. And I was there, and the goal comes from that. So I have the manager, you know, to thank for that as well.
Your first goal for Everton. How does it feel in a personal level, especially considering how well you've been doing since you got here?
Yeah, no, it's brilliant. It's so nice, you know, to score here. And like the last few games when we've been here, we've been drawing. And I keep saying to myself in like the 85th minute, like, come on, Jack, try and score. Come on, imagine if you scored now. I've done it against Villa, I've done it against West Ham, and I didn't score. So today I actually said the same thing again, and I scored. And then, yeah, I ran to where my mum and dad were. So, yeah, it was nice. But that goal goes to all the Evertonians that have made me